Hey gang, today we're going to continue on our blues basics and we're going to talk about turnarounds, blues turnarounds. Now what are blues turnarounds? Blues turnarounds are the things at the end of a 12-bar blues, or it could be an 8-bar blues, that take you back to the beginning. Specifically in a 12-bar blues, we're talking about bars 11 and 12. So even if you don't know what a turnaround is, I guarantee you've heard them before and you'll recognize them. Let me play one of the turnarounds we're going to learn today and just show you what I'm talking about. Here's one we're going to learn today. Right? You've heard that before it goes back to the... Okay, so that's an example of a turnaround. Now we're going to do 3 turnarounds today. Here's how I'd like to show you the lesson today. First, I'm going to go through the 12-bar blues in E, and we'll tell you where the turnaround happens. Then I'm going to show you 3 turnarounds. I'll show you how to apply them. That's it, okay? Should be nice, short, and sweet. No tab on this one. Why? Well, I think it's really important that you actually learn it and get it into your brain as well as your fingers. The tab's going to get in the way, and you're going to think you're going to be able to play it, but you won't really have it memorized. These are really important to have under your fingers. And then you can go, I won't say anywhere, but there's so many different turnarounds you can make up on your own. It's almost endless, right? So get these under your fingers first. All right, so let's first show you where the turnaround is and how it occurs. Okay, so 12-bar blues in E. Let's go through it. I'll count out the measures. We've got the 1 chord is an E, the 4 chord's an A, and the 5 chord is a B or B7, or however you want to play it, okay? All right, so let's count it out. So I'm going to count out the measures. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 1. Measure 2. Measure 3. Measure 4. All E, all the 1 chord. Measure 5. That's an A. 6, 7, that's back to the 1 chord. 8, here we go, 9, that's our B. 10, here's the turnaround. Okay, so did you hear that? The turnaround was over those last 2 measures, the 1 chord and the 5 chord. Now, turnarounds don't always happen that way, but it's over those last 2 bits that we're really talking about. Okay, so that's how it happens. Let's go over the first example of a turnaround. I'm going to play it, show it up close, and then demo how it happens. Here's example 1. Now, these 3 examples get a little bit more difficult as we progress, but I'm sure you can handle all 3. Here it is. Here's the first one. Now I'm going to show it to you up close and slowly, but before I do, let me show you where to come in on the bar. So we've got bar 9. In just a second I'm going to do a demo, and I've got bars 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that's just to save a little time for us as I demo it. But bar 9 would be the B7, or the B. The bar 10 would be the A, and then our turnaround, an E to a B, or a B7. Okay? So if we're counting out, it happens on the 2. So it goes like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1. Like that. Okay? So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That's how it goes. All right? So we're coming in on the 2 of the measure. All right, just wanted to get that. All right, here we are up close now. Okay, here's our first turnaround. Now we're going to start out on the 3rd fret of the B string, and we're going to hit that twice, and we're going to hit both of the top 2 strings in unison. So like this. And we're going to do that twice. Then we're going to move down a fret, then another fret, and then just open. That last one, pretty darn easy, right? We're just hitting the first two strings. All right, so that's how that goes. Remember, it's on beat 2, so it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. Now the last two, basically we're headed to a B7 chord or a B chord, and instead of using the normal one, what we're doing is we're using a 9th chord. And the 9th chord sounds pretty cool. Let me show it to you. Here's a B9, and the B9 is on the A string, we've got 2, D1, G2, B2, and E2, like this. Really cool sounding chord. If you haven't experienced it yet, happens a lot in the blues. It's a great alternative to a 7th chord. But for this turnaround, we're not just playing that chord. We're going to approach it. We're going to play what's called an approach chord. A great idea. It's used all over jazz and blues. We're going to play the chord just directly above it, but with the same shape. See, I'm using the exactly same shape. This is a C9 chord because there's my root right there on the 3rd string of the of the 3rd fret of the A string. And that's what we're going to do right there. So it's like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, and with that approach chord, we're just going to give it a nice thwack. We're going to cut it off then. Don't let it be ringing. That sounds okay, but we want to dampen it. So use your right hand to deaden the strings. Okay, let's do a demo now. I've got my looper on, and so we're going to remember we're going to start on bar 9. So here we go. Here's our bar 9. Here we go. Okay, so not so bad. Let me show you our second turnaround. Here's our second turnaround. We're going to do it a little bit differently. Instead of just using the first 2 strings, now we're going to use 3 strings. So we're going to play, and we're going to do a hammer on when we get to the bottom. So it's going to be like this. Okay, so let's check out this one up close. All right, here's our second turnaround up close. So our second turnaround, let me play it just a little bit slow-mo and then we will break it down. Okay. So there's a couple of things that are more difficult about this one. First of all, we're hitting 3 strings. Okay, so we're starting out on the G string 4, on the B string 3, and an open E string. So then just moving that shape down, moving it down again. And then instead of just playing this, which would be moving it down again, you can recognize this as part of an E chord, right? It's the top 3 strings of an E chord. But instead of just playing that, we're playing. So we're playing the open G string, hammering onto 1, and then playing 2 on the D string. So the first part goes. All right, and the last part goes like this when we're going to the B chord. Okay, so this is a little bit harder to execute because we're using some bass notes here. We're playing the open A, then the first on the A, and then the B, which is the 2nd fret on the A string. And and then we're simply playing a B7 chord. Now that B7 chord is A2, D1, G2, B open, and E2. So there we go. One more time. Here it is slowly. All right, time to demo. Remember, again, we're coming in on bar 9. Here we go. And there we go. That's how we use that one. Now here is the last turnaround, and this one is the trickiest one for sure of the bunch that we're going to do. It's going to seem the same. It's going to seem like it's in the same place, and the left hand fingers are basically going to do the same thing. But now we're going to do a little bit more with the right hand. And that's one of the keys to, I think, having good turnarounds is varying up what's going on with the right and left hand, changing up the rhythm a little bit. Anyway, this is the hardest of the bunch, but it's not that much more difficult. Here it is. We won't do that last part, but just the... All right, here it is up close. Okay, here is the last one. Now, to make this as easy as possible, what I've told you is that we're keeping the left hand the same. So we're basically going to do the same thing that we did the last time. Our left hand's going to do the same thing, but our right hand is not. Our right hand is, instead of just playing the chords like we did before in strumming, what we're going to do is play single notes. So we're going to play 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay? It's going to be a little bit tricky, and we've got to get the timing right. We're playing 3 notes in every beat, which is a triplet feel. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. The end is actually exactly the same. It's just the beginning part that's going to be a little bit different. So here's the lick as we play it. Here's the lick as we're going to do it, the turnaround. So you see the last part, this, is exactly the same as we did before. It's just these notes right here. We're picking each one. And let's count it out. Like I said, it's triplets. It's a triplet feel, so we're playing 3 of those notes in every beat. Okay? So again, starting on the 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So that's it. Okay? So practice this one. Your right hand, if you haven't done this before, try and make sure that you cleanly hit all 3 of those strings. And then come into that hammer-on nicely, because you've got to change the tempo there a little bit as well. Okay, this one is a true blues lick. You'll hear this one a lot. Sometimes people will play it with the fingers instead of the pick, but either one is going to be fine for you. And finally, let's demo this one too. You know the drill, we're coming in on bar 9. 10, and here's 11. Remember the 2. And there we go. All right, gang, well, there you have it. 3 examples of turnarounds. I hope that you memorize these, and I hope that you really get them under your fingers, get the timing right, get the feel of it right, and then you can move on to doing your own turnarounds. There's almost endless numbers of turnarounds you can do, right? Or how about this one? So many cool ones. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, we will see you on down the road.